Watch that flame there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is a Cape Dory 32. And the owner was talking to us a bit yesterday evening. He said he's had it for 38 years. And it is in beautiful condition. That's bragging rights. This is Rendezvous with the Ramey family. The girls and I are a throuple on board our Albert 30 Liberty Call. We're exploring the West Coast and all the Channel Islands. This is Chapter 1. We're dropping our hooks in all the cool spots as we save up every penny to move on board our forever boat. Welcome aboard. I used to have a little cup holder right here hanging on the lifeline, and we got beat up so bad, beating up wind on the way down here. At some point yesterday I noticed it was just not on the boat anymore, so it's in the ocean somewhere, which is sad because I like that thing. It's my only cup holder out here. It is 0630 and we're off. We're heading back to the marina. The bugs and the flies out here this time, I don't know if it's the time of year or what, but oh my god, we're just covered in it's like an ant colony with wings. It's terrible. It's a pretty sunrise. Now that we were far enough away from the anchorage, it was time to put my favorite crew member to work.
We grabbed the autopilot?
Otto, the autopilot. It was going to be a pretty straight shot from the anchorage to the opening of the harbor, so this should be a cakewalk for Otto. This frees up way more sets of hands to combat the massive amount of flies who seemed hell-bent on harassing me and Jeff the entire trip home. And for about an hour or so, we had nothing to do but see who can kill more flies. And we got to start stringing them up at the edge of town.
Pull their weights off.
I can't believe there's so many flies here, man. They're never going back to the island. They're transient hobo flies now. And no matter how many we killed, it just wasn't enough. We had both checked the weather, and we both pretty much knew that there wasn't going to be any wind till much later on in the afternoon. And if everything went as planned, we'd be back in the slip way before then. But even still, it's usually best to keep your mainsail raised whether you're motoring in no wind or not. Now the idea is, as the boat rolls left and right, the raised mainsail will create enough wind resistance to minimize the uncomfortable movement, making the last leg of this much more enjoyable. Plus, When you have things to do, it pretty much makes the trip go faster. And a trip like this is pretty uneventful, which can make it seem a lot longer if you don't stay busy.
So we had a nice beam reach on our trip back here, so we decided to raise the main, and we couldn't figure out why it wouldn't raise all the way, and it took two of us like a solid 2 to 3 minutes to realize it still had a reefing line cinched tight, so we had to dick with that. We were troubleshooting all the lines at the mast, trying to figure out where it was getting caught or what was getting fouled, but it wasn't technically fouled, it was just still technically reefed.
Sailing back towards your home slip is a much different feeling than leaving from it. When you're leaving the slip and you're heading out to sea, you've already done a lot of preparation and planning, and it leads up to that moment where it's time to put it in action. It's full of excitement, it's a bit of anxiety, lots of anticipation. But on the way home, on that last leg of the journey, it feels like you got a lot of stuff in the bag already. And if this last leg goes smoothly, you'll be home in no time, where you'll have to go back to your normal life. It's a mixed feeling that always makes me compare my time underway and on board, and all the things that I'd seen and experienced, to my normal everyday life, when I'm not on board. And it's a double-edged sword. One part of me misses my family and wants to see everybody, and the other part of me feels like going home is somehow going backwards. I know the purpose of this boat is to get my family and myself prepared and capable of living, maintaining, and crewing a much bigger boat full-time, and this part of my journey is an important step, but I really feel like it can't come soon enough. The constant planning and thinking of the future has really started to damage my ability to live in the present and be present in the moment, and I got a little bit of it back this weekend, and I'm grateful for it. And as much as I want to be on the next step of my journey already, I have to learn to slow down and be present in the now with the people around me that I love. I motored Liberty Call right up to the fuel docks because I used quite a bit of it this last weekend, and I like to top her off before I put her back in the slip. And I'm glad I did, because as soon as we were tied up to the dock and handled our fuel situation, I noticed that ship, the same wooden ship that I had seen coming from the south towards Channel Island Marina. I had never seen her before, but I had a feeling she was coming from San Diego. And this time, I wasn't busy messing with a line that I had fouled up. I was standing on the dock, quite stationary, and I thought, I'm not missing another chance to put the drone up and get a better look at this thing. Seeing this ship pull out of port was the perfect way to top off my weekend. And after I put her back in the slip, Jeff and I took that furling headsail down that had ripped coming out of Potato Harbor the day before. We were going to take it back home and get it situated. That headsail was going to have to be repaired, and it was going to have to be repaired well enough that it was going to last me until I can order a new furling headsail.
That was a hell of a weekend. I'm going to go home. I'll be back out in 6 days, and you guys can check out the next video in 2 weeks.